It's Beer O'Clock, and this is the Beer O'Clock Show, where every week we're appearing all over the place as the podcasting megastars we are. My name is Mark, and joining me is my beer mentor and superstar beercaster, Steve. Hello, Steve.
Hello, Mark. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I just found my way back onto my own show this week.
We had a very eventful Saturday, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. This week continues our Italian season with a lovely, well, I presume lovely, Italian beer to have. And that's another thing we'll get to in a little bit. Stephen, what have you been drinking, mate?
You know, I struggle to remember what I've drunk this weekend. I really did. Obviously, without giving too much away of what we're coming on to, we had quite the share of Brewdog beers on Saturday. But other ones that stick in the mind, that there was a Halcyon in there, more than likely, I think. And I had a Siren Tickle Monster, which is their 12% triple IPA that's been aged on cedarwood and brewed with an absolute fuck ton of mangoes, so much so that there's still sort of mango puree in the bottle, so you have to pour it very carefully, but you pour that into a glass and you just get this massive aroma of mangoes. It's absolutely beautiful. And then that's just backed up by this really boozy triple IPA, an absolute stunner of a beer. And then probably the only other one that stood out was, and I can't remember how to pronounce this, it's something like Demite de Gollum or something like that. It was a bottle of beer that Ed gave me. Ed Razzle from the Swan gave me for my birthday, and it had a hop flower actually in the bottle, so to continue the fermentation and to continue to add flavours to this beer. But as a result, it makes it really, really fizzy. So literally, and I was warned to open it in the sink, and it was a good job I did, because I took the top off and it was like Mount Vesuvius going off in the sink. The flower shot out of the top of the bottle, and basically left this really hoppy, golden blonde Belgian style ale, which was just really, really pleasant to drink. It wasn't too sort of like Belgian-y. It was just like a really, really, really effervescent, strong, refreshing beer. So that pretty much sums up my week in beer.
Cool. It's a little bit more eventful than mine. I think I had a Bishop's Finger, the last bottle. I had to get rid of.
Still ploughing through the Bishop's Finger.
They're all gone now. And a Brooklyn Lager, which is just one of the supermarket staples that I get now and then. And I mentioned this to you last week off the show, or before we started recording, which is Badgers have a new beer out. I don't know how long it's been out for, but it's still got new written on the bottle, which is called Leaping Legend. I don't know if you've seen this one, Steve.
I know they've got a couple of new ones out. I didn't realise they've got. Is it? I don't know what the other one's called, but I'm sure it's got a hop in the title or something like that. But I've heard about this one. So what sort of style of beer is it?
So Leaping Legend, which you can purchase in Tesco's, by the way, it's basically like, I mean, on Untapped, I'll put my teeth back in. On Untapped, I've remarked that it's a nice, mildly hopped summer bitter, and that's basically what it is. On the label, it's called Leaping Legend. It has a picture of a rabbit on the top on the label, and it's kind of based around it being, more hoppy than their usual beers.
Yeah.
But Badgers are a real ale brewer. They're not one of these craft breweries, so they
love a Badger.
I do love a Badger. Love a bit of Badger. Hashtag all the Badger. So their beers aren't usually overly hopped anyway. They're all, consumer beers, if we're going to be fair. So I wasn't expecting something that was like Magic Rock style.
Yeah.
But it was a typical Badgers bitter, but with slightly more hops than you would expect. Went down really easily. It's only their usual, I think it's like 4.5% or something, so it's really easy to go down. I rated it 3.5 stars, so didn't blow my mind, but if it's there and you fancy it, and you want a beer to have while you're having a barbecue or whatever, then get it, pick it up. It's a decent try if you like Badger's beers. I know we have a couple of listeners who don't mind Badgers, like Barlow, if he's listening. Peachy. But other than that, like you said, we had a few tasters on the weekend, but we'll get to those after the news.
Yes.
So that's my excitement really. So shall we get to the news then, mate?
Yeah, almost seamless there, mate. Just.
I should have just gone straight into the pips.
You should have done, yeah.
Anyway, here we go.
We're making far too much of this every week.
Beep 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 beep.
News. Okay, Here we go then. So last week mentioned the Winter Brewfest without really giving a lot of detail other than the dates, and I felt as though we'd done them a bit of a disservice. So I went back in to find some more information. And you know what? This week I've got more information, but it hasn't got the dates on it, so I can't remember when the damn thing is. But the Winter Brewfest, I think it's something like the 6th to the 8th of November, or 7th and the 8th of November. It's around then. This is from the guys that bought the Summer Brewfest that I went to earlier on in the year. They've released the first few breweries that are going to be appearing at the festival. Just thought I'd give you a quick run through of those. So you've got 5 Points, 4 Pure, Gypsy Hill, Hammerton, the London Beer Factory, Red Church, Thistley Cross Cider, Truman's, and Weird Beard. With the exception of Thistley Cross, they're all based in London. So this is a showcase, again, of up-and-coming London breweries. For more information and tickets, winterbrewfest.co.uk. And there are still some early bird tickets available as well, which for I think about 20 quid gets you your entrance and a few beers as well, which isn't bad.
Nice.
for an afternoon out at a festival.
No.
Mixing it up a little bit, so the cask report was released in the past week. Now this is it's a report that's written every year by I believe it's written by Camera or the industry on the state of cask beer in the UK. The headlines from this year's report: cask ale is in volume growth, still outperforming on beer trade by 4.5%. And the UK is now drinking 634 million pints of cask ale a year. That's a lot of beer that we're drinking. 1 in 6 pints of beer served in pubs is a cask ale. 3 new breweries are opening every week in the UK, which was news that came out in the Camera Good Pub Guide as well. And probably the most important thing as well, it is most important. There's a paragraph in these notes I've got here that says there's a great deal of excitement around the concept of craft beer. So for people not watching the audio podcast, I just did the little fingers thing around craft beer. The air quotes. Yeah, the air quotes. So this is which most drinkers define as beer from a small brewer or beer brewed in small batches or limited editions rather than particular styles or formats. Most craft beer is cask ale and most cask ale is craft beer. So that's probably the main thing from there. Now, I couldn't find an actual page to read the entire report, but it is out there. If you just search for the Cask Report 2014 on Google, you can read the whole thing. It's like a big glossy report if you do happen across it. So, continuing on a theme of cask beers, the Wetherspoons International ReAle Festival is upon us again. Friday the 17th to Sunday the 2nd of November. They've released their list of 50-odd beers that they're going to be featuring as part of the ReAle Festival. I've picked out the ones that I think are worth a look. So, 6 Point Brooklyn Bitter has been brewed with Adnams, so continuing that American showcase brewing that they do as part of this festival. 6 Point are back at Adnams brewing another limited edition brew for the festival. We've also got Liberation American Brown Ale, which is a new beer which is exclusive to this festival. So this is the only time you're going to see it. Harvestoon, their old engine oil, is going to be on cask in some Wetherspoons. That might be worth seeking out. O'Kell's IPA had a lot of good press recently as well, so that might be another one worth searching out. You then got Adnams 1659 Smoked Ruby Beer, again another exclusive to the festival. Oakham Great Gustav, which is a beer that's been brewed with German hops. So again, just Oakham consistently good beers, so it might be worth having a look at that one. And then clearly Wetherspoon have sought inspiration from the Beer O'Clock Show, mate, because they're featuring an Italian beer that's been brewed with a British brewery. Now, this is called excuse my pronunciation here. Let me give this a go. Beerificio Lambrate Ligera.
Shocking, mate.
Yeah, I know. It's Beerificio Lambrate Ligera. Basically, Fabio Barocca and Mattia Bernardi have travelled to Marsden's Brewery to brew this amber-coloured beer, which with notes of mandarin and orange, leading to citrus notes. So you can download the full festival programme and tasting notes from the Wetherspoons website if you want to. So it's worth having a look at the 50-odd beers that are on, because obviously, clearly what I've done there is just picked out the ones that I would want to drink. But there are another 42 to choose from. And then finally, in this week's news, it's been a few weeks, so let's have a trio of Brewdog news, shall we? So Brewdog released a blog last week called Our Plans for the Next 6 Months, that basically detail what they're doing over the next 6 months, surprisingly. I've just picked out a few things that I think are of interest, so here we go. Dog Eat Dog is going to be their newest site in London. It's going to be a craft beer restaurant. So craft beers, killer hot dogs, and a few little surprises. Now, I knew this a few weeks ago because we got told about this when we went up to the trip, up to Brewdog HQ, which we featured a few weeks back. But we were kind of asked to keep it under our hats a little bit. Basically, Brewdog applied for a license for another bar in Islington, and Islington Council turned them down and said, no, you can't have a bar. So they applied for a license for a restaurant, and Islington Council said, yes, you can have that. So then they're basically just it's going to be a restaurant that sells Brewdog beer. So keep your eye out for that one. Cans and Bombers. They're doing more of their beers in both cans and 660ml bombers. So at the moment, it's only Punk that's available in those two formats, in addition to 330ml. But once they've got their new canning line in 2015, and again, you heard this on our summer special, they're going to be looking to put the likes of Jackhammer into cans as well, which will simply be awesome. And then finally, last week they released their latest collaboration beer, which was Cap Dog, 9% ABV Warped Smoky Black IPA brewed to imperial strength, infused with cascara, which is the fruit of the coffee plant. And we got to try that at the weekend, which we'll be chatting about shortly. And that's the end of this week's news. Quite an informed news segment this week, I feel.
Yeah, and on the Brewdog topic, I said on Twitter that I'm far from being a Brewdog fanboy. But even I'm excited about some of the news they had in that blog post. Some of it's really interesting. Yeah,
it was a really good blog post, actually.
Yeah, good stuff coming out of Brewdog HQ.
Absolutely. They just don't seem to be able to stop doing what they're doing, which is a great thing, because, at the end of the day, they're, and we've said this many a times, love them or hate them about the way that they go about their marketing and their promotion. If their beer was shit, then I think you'd have a case to really hate them. But they're consistently turning out good beers. So, and we should welcome that, I think.
Yeah, providing the quality is always there.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
But, all eyes are on Brewdog. They're going great guns. So, as the saying goes, make hay while you can. So, they're reaping the benefits and the fortune while they can. So, good on them. Anyway, that kind of seamlessly leads down the road to a little get-together we had.
If we keep calling it seamless, maybe if we stop calling it seamless, but it would actually be seamless.
Yeah, if you reference the seamlessness, it's not seamless anymore.
That's true.
That not quite so seamlessly leads to our little Saturday event, which was at Brewdog Clapham Junction. He very kindly played host to a little get together between Mark and Steve, that's us from the Beer O'Clock Show, and three chaps from a podcast that Steve's a very big fan of, called AhhGee. Now, tell us a little bit. Well, we'll tell the folks. You don't have to tell me what happened on Saturday, Matt. But to tell the folks what happened on Saturday and how it all came to be and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we did. Regular listeners of the show will know that a few months back I did an interview with the guys from the RG podcast, where they were chatting about how I got into beer, and we were talking about the show and how the show has grown and the evolution of that. And then following that, I've been listening to their podcast for a few months now. It's my sort of humour. It's right up my street. It's one of these where I can guarantee every week when I listen to it, there will be an inappropriate laugh out loud moment on the morning commute, which is always interesting to have people looking at you for laughing. But so yeah, I did the interview, and then I got chatting with Andy from RG about the potential of doing a collaboration show, which was kind of a bit of us and a bit of them and a bit of what we do and a bit of what they do. So we played around with the idea, and eventually we got to the point on Saturday where, as you say, we were hosted by Brewdog Clapham, who were the great hosts that they are. The general manager was involved in the cast that we did as well. He got involved, and we basically did what we've called the RG Beercast, which was essentially, it was their podcast episode number 38, but with Mark and I pretty much forcing beer reviews on them. So forcing them to drink beer throughout the course of their show. So there was some beer-infused content. There was, and as I say, it was a bit of us and a bit of them. And there was always the potential of it was either going to be an absolute car crash, or it was going to be a genius coming together of two of the world's greatest podcasts. And I actually think it was the latter, because if you can listen to it now, if you search out the guys, you can find them on Twitter at AhhGee Prod. That's AhhGeeProd, RG Prod. Search them out on Twitter. You can link through to their website, and then you can listen to the RG Beercast that we did with them. And you can have a think for yourself. It's an hour of your time that you're never going to get back, but it's a nice infusion of two podcasts coming together, I think. What about you, Mo? What did you think of it? What did you think of the beers that we did?
Well, I thought the day itself was really good fun. I didn't know any of the RG guys. They turned up with shitloads of kit, laptops and microphones and mixers and all kinds of stuff, and you and I were just looking at it going, bloody hell, they're professional.
Yeah, I had to have a microphone. I've never had a proper microphone in my face for a podcast. It was scary.
Yeah, the microphones on stands and all that kind of stuff was amazing. But the beers we had were really good. Should I run through what beers we had on the testers?
let's give our listeners that maybe haven't listened to the RG Beercast yet a run through of the beers that we drank.
Yeah, so these are the ones that people are going to hear the RG guys discuss. So it was, I don't know if this is the order or what, because I think I tapped them in incorrectly. This is Lager, the new Brewdog Lager, Punk IPA, Capdog, Russian Doll Barley Wine, and I'm not sure if this was in the show, but we also had them try Spontan Peach by McKellar.
Yeah, that I don't think that made the edit. I think in the end we recorded about 2 hours worth of content, didn't we? And they've done a great job of cutting it down to the hour that you can hear on the RG Beercast. And to continue the crossover collaboration, if you stay tuned at the end of tonight's show, you'll be able to listen to a little segment called RG Versus, which is where Team AhhGee took on Team Beer in basically a pub quiz. And I'm not going to give too much away, but we were pretty happy with the outcome. let's just say that. But you can check that out on the end of tonight's show. That the guys have basically given us the content to use on our show, just to keep that theme of collaboration going.
Yeah, and a big thanks to Brewdog for letting us sit in the corner and talk way too loudly and disturbing their punters, and for James, their general, sitting in with us throughout. So it was a good time.
And for the amount of abuse he took for introducing himself as the general, which again you can check out on the RG Beercast. He does get a bit of grief at the beginning for that.
Yeah, and we've had a few mentions elsewhere in the podcast line, or we have a few other podcast mentions that we want to make, don't we?
Yeah, I just I think just in the theme of, because earlier on this week it was National Podcast Day on the 30th of September, so I just thought it'd be nice actually just to give a nod to some of the other podcasts that are out there. So first one that I'm obviously going to mention is 11 PM Somewhere, the big fella from Ireland, Mr. Shy himself, AhhGee, who basically carries the 11 PM Somewhere flag, waves his flag. He's up on his, what does he say at the beginning of his podcast? He's up on his craft beer crate, waving his craft beer flag, adorned in his craft beer cape. He's a craft beer superhero. I really enjoy listening to Ian's podcasts. He's a one-man machine, but he's so passionate about what he talks about, and he's so informed as well. He really knows what he's talking about. And on his show last week, he gave us a massive shout out again for the lock-in that's coming up in January. So I just wanted to return that favour and to coin a phrase that Ian's now created. He's part of the Beer O'Clock family. He's very much embraced what we do. We've embraced what he does, and hoping that we're looking at the potential for season 6 of maybe doing a season's worth of Irish craft beers and having Ian on as a regular guest. So we'll extend that Beer O'Clock family, and he can come on and do a little bit more with us. So keep your ears out for that. So that's 11 PM Somewhere. Again, unfortunately, I've not done enough prep tonight to get you the website addresses. Search him out on Twitter at 11 PM Somewhere, and you can link through to his podcast from there. So that's the first one. Next one I want to mention is one of Ian's friends and a guy that I met when I went up to Brewdog in Aberdeen. The Irish beer snob, Wayne, has started doing his own podcast. They're roughly coming out on a weekly basis, but he's also introduced his wife into the mix now as well. So this is Wayne and Janice, husband and wife team, reviewing Irish craft beers, talking about the Irish craft beer scene. Again, very informed, lots of passion in there, and lots of knowledge. So again, search Wayne out at Irish Beer Snob on Twitter, and you can link through to his podcast from there. And then finally, the last one I want to mention, and this is an interesting one, Steve and Roland's podcast. Basically, these guys have been podcasting for about 60-odd episodes now, and they're a Beer Bods tie-in. So they're both subscribers to the Beer Bods scheme, and then what they do every week, they record a podcast of that week's Beer Bods beer, and then they release it on a Thursday at the same time when everybody's drinking the beer. So it's quite a nice spin on doing the whole podcasting and tying that into the world of Beer Bods. Now, that one, I'm going to struggle with the website address and the Twitter addresses, because it's not at Stephen Roland. I think it's something like, if you search out at Has Been New Boy, that's one of them, and you'll be able to search through from there. But what I'll do is I'll put links direct to 11 PM Somewhere, the Irish Beer Sob, and Stephen Roland. I'll put links to all of those in the show notes, so you'll be able to click straight through to the place where you can listen to the podcast. But just give them a go, because if you enjoy what we do, you'll enjoy what these guys do. as well. And you would have seen us over the last week or so on Twitter putting out a plea for reviews and ratings. It's so important to us on iTunes that you leave us a review, that you leave us a rating, and it is for these guys as well. So if you enjoy listening to their stuff, just take a few minutes and give them a review because reviews matter.
Indeedy. Right, okay, well let's get on to this week's beer review, because that is what we're here for after all.
After that rant, I am thirsty, mate.
This is another beer in our Italian range this season, provided again by the lovely blokes from Beers from Italy, and all the Season 5 beers, all the Season 5 Italian beers, can be ordered from Beers from Italy with a 15% discount. Just go to our website, beeroclockshow.co.uk, and click on the Season 5 beer list to get the discount code. Steve's pouring his out already, so I'll do that as well.
Sorry, I couldn't wait to get it into the glass.
So
I've heard lots of good stuff about tonight's beer.
Yeah, the beer is called ReAle. It's a 6.4% IPA from Birra del Borgo, which I think is one of the more popular breweries in Italy.
It's one of the now 700 odd craft breweries that there are in Italy. Yes, the scene has really exploded over there. It's amazing, isn't it? It's all sort of creamy toffee and pine in there. It's a lovely dark amber colour. Maybe a little bit of orange in the aroma there as well.
Nice to see you're using your Teku glass as well, mate.
Of course, mate. Again, thanks to Andy from Beers from Italy for supplying us with the Teku glass, which is the only way to drink Italian craft beer, I'll have you know. But yeah, no, it looks absolutely stunning. Like I say, there's been a lot of our listeners and a lot of the Instagram gang have been all over this beer all over the weekend. They've been drinking it and they've been telling us that we are in for a treat tonight. So can we get into it, please? Because I'm so excited.
Here we go. ReAle, let's go. Cheers,
Salute.
Mate. Salute. Wow, you got a really bitey, bitter back end, but that smooth sweetness at the very front makes it far too easy.
Again, that was the first thing that came to mind because I had a proper good guzzle of that as well to start with, and I was drinking it thinking, oh, hello again. This is a little bit like my Antonia. It's very, very easy. It's very easy to drink. It's not even touching the sides at the moment. But yeah, it's all subtle flavours initially, and then you get this lovely bitter finish to it. But it's a really fantastically balanced bitter finish. It's not too much, and it's not enough. It's just right.
Yeah, you got that kind of that hoppy bitterness that bites the side of your tongue. But the tip of your tongue is just overwhelmed by this wave of toffee-ish sweetness coming over the top. And and I say it's smooth, it actually feels smooth as it's going over your palate. It's quite delightful.
Wow, it's a very delightful beer. Now, this is a beer that's been inspired by traditional IPAs. So that's why I was probably getting very, very excited about it, because being the IPA centric that I am, I was always going to want to dive into this one head first. So as we know, the modern style of IPAs are generously hopped. So this beer has been customized with American aroma hops to give it that smell, the aroma, the bitterness that we're getting. In terms of what we should be getting from it, and clearly I'm reading from the tasting notes here, so we should be getting some citrus flavours, which I've not picked up yet. I'm getting more of the toffee pine-ness to it, suggestion of grapefruit, oranges, and some pepper as well. We should be picking up, and it has, and we've nailed this one, mate, an intense and persisting bitter end. Which I think just about sums it up. This is a really good beer, actually. I'm enjoying this one. This is two out of 2 for the Italian beers.
Indeed. Yeah, I am getting that slight grapefruit on the nose, and I am picking up, now that you mention it, the pepper, the pepperiness to it. I'm not getting the citrus really though, apart from that slight grapefruit.
Yeah, no, I'm not picking up much of the citrus. But this is our second beer from Birra del Borgo this season. I do believe we've got at least one more to come from these guys, and then the rest are from Baladin. And as you mentioned, you can get these beers from Beers from Italy with a nice discount. Thank you very much, guys, for that. I know a lot of our listeners have taken you up on that offer and are enjoying drinking along with us this season as well.
Cool. It's funny, we saw Jeremiah on Saturday from Beers from Italy.
We did, yes.
Because when he and Andy were on the show, we mentioned how cute the little bottles are, because they're done in the style of small artisan wine bottles. And he made the point, which I never cottoned on to when they were talking about it, was that with wine being so popular in Italy, all the glass manufacturers, all the bottle manufacturers make wine bottles. So if you want to get your bottles cheap, you're going to reuse the same size bottles that all the wine makers use. So it's not just because it makes it more palatable to consumers to put it on their dinner table, but also because you're not having to get custom beer bottles made. You know, like you said, it's either this style of bottle or, what did you say, like Heineken or something, which you don't necessarily
like
want.
The standard lager bottle. Yeah.
And I have to say that this style of bottle catches the eye and really sells
these
it.
Bottles are beautiful, aren't they? Yeah.
I mean, especially in the UK and in Italy, it probably wouldn't stand out as much because they would be used to having this style of bottle with all the wineries and everything. But to have that on a beer shelf, you're going to get attention for it, and especially the labels as well, which are quite nicely illustrated and simple, but elegant at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, everything about the Italian beers just screams, and I'm not going to use the word craft, because in the Italian beer scene they tend to use the word artisanal rather than craft. So, but everything has that kind of feel about it, from the way that the beers are made and brewed to the bottles that they're served in, to the glassware that accompany the bottles, and to the labels as well. Everything just has that feel about it. And it's like the complete package as well, because the beers that are coming out of these bottles, we've only sampled 2 so far, but both of them for me have been absolute winners.
Yeah, they've been classy, haven't they? It's not like this is going to be really snobbish, but because I think Andy or Jeremiah said this, that like the Italian scene is where, in comparison to the UK, is where the UK is in comparison to the US. So, you know, you could think, well, the Italian scene is a little bit behind. But based on 2 beers, it's not very scientific comparison. But they're putting out some quality stuff, and it's really nice. And I'm not a huge fan of IPAs, but again, this is one of those nicely balanced IPAs where you're not getting your entire mouth assaulted by pine needles.
No, I completely agree with you there, mate. This is in terms of the IPA style, this is almost a perfect balance between a British IPA, a classic traditional British IPA, versus the kind of new wave American IPAs. It's a perfect balance of the two. And bearing in mind what you've just said there in terms of where the Italian beer scene is, it's only been going since 1996. So it's only coming up to being 20 years old. Whereas if you go back to brewing in the States, it's it goes back to the 60s, maybe further back than that. You go back to brewing in the UK, it goes even further back than that. So yeah, I think in terms of the craft, the artisanal scene, I think they're spot on where they are at the moment. And there's actually a word, and I know I've already ballsed it up once this evening, but I'm going to try and say it again. I'll try and say it because I've got it written down in front of me phonetically. So I'm going to try and forget the phonetics and just say it in one. Beerificio. which apparently it's a new word that's been created in the Italian language that's used specifically to associate with artisanal Italian brewers and breweries. So birrificio. Andy's probably listening to this now, absolutely cringing at my Italian pronunciation. Next time they come on, we'll get him just to clarify that. But yeah, so they've actually created this new word in the Italian dictionary as well, in the Italian language, just to sum up exactly what's going on in the brewing scene.
Oh, cool. I've just done my Justin Mason rolling the beer around in the glass to get a better smell trick. And I'm getting I'm getting sour orange. Again, I'm getting that kind of biscuity toffiness in the background. With that, I know grapefruit isn't sweet, but not sweet, but that kind of crisp, grapefruity scent to it. Just a very hint of it.
It's almost like a Jaffa cake in a glass, because you're getting that malty biscuitiness coming through. You're getting the orange flavours, the aromas, and then you take this swig of it. You get a little bit of the malts, a little bit of the orange that quickly gives way to the toffee and the pine, and then it's just got this beautiful bit of finish. I can't remember a time when I've had a beer that's got such a nice finish as this one.
Yeah, it's got like a really simple complexity to it. There's loads of different things going on, but they all just come together in this really nice, simple finish, which is a nice hoppy bitterness, just smoothed over with that toffiness in the palate and that sweetness. It's really nice. Well done, Beer del Borgo. Yeah,
the hops are there, but they've not been overused. They've been used to perfection.
Yeah.
That they're enough to satisfy a hophead like me, but also they're enough to satisfy someone who's hop-averse like you.
Indeed, yeah. That's a good way to tell me. I'm not hop-averse, but I'm...
Yeah, but you're not a hop... You don't crave hops like I do.
I'm not a hophead in the slightest. Well, they also do a ReAle extra.
Ooh,
that might be
might
dangerous.
Have to track that one down. Yeah, I want one of the big bottles of that. 700ml bottles of that, please. Might have to use our own discount code to get me one of those. So, final thoughts on the beer, mate?
Gorgeous. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a simple complexity to it, and it's really well done. And it's a good thing it's a small bottle, because I could go a pint of that, and at 6.4% on a Monday night, that wouldn't be wise for me.
Absolutely not. No. Kind of feeling for you maybe a little bit next week then.
I've done worse on a Monday night.
Yeah, you have. Necked a bottle of Unhuman Cannonball in 20 minutes.
Oh, I will never forget that. And I'll never stop talking about it. Anyway.
One of our best shows ever, that.
Do you have any final thoughts on this, Steve?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to say anything else this week, because I think you have once again summed it up perfectly. That simple complexity. That's what nails it for me. I do this every time. I've got nothing else to add, but it's the finish for me. It's got this just lovely bitter finish to it that is dry, but it's a little bit sweet. It's a little bit of the pepper on there, so there's a little bit of the heat. But the finish is perfect on it. It's absolutely perfect.
And it's not the kind of bitter finish where you think, oh, I don't really want another mouthful of that too quickly.
No.
I'll let it sit for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Lovely.
That was, great beer. Great beer.
Yeah. So, once again, thanks to Andy and Jeremiah from Beers from Italy for providing this beer, and you can get it and the rest of their range. They have this box, which is basically the beers we've got on the show, as a kind of like
it's a discovery box or something like that it's called, yeah.
Yeah, like a little get pissed kit that you can get on the website. It's 15% off, so go do that. Really simple.
Now there's a gap in the market. The Get Pissed kit.
Screw these beer a week clubs. Just join the Get Pissed kit. Get a case of 24 delivered to your door every week.
Every week, and you have to drink them before the next week, otherwise you don't get your next box.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all linked into Untapped. If you haven't checked them all in within a week, you don't get your next box.
I think we're on a winner there.
And at the end of 6 months, there's a special Untapped check-in to the Priory for a bit of rehab.
Yeah, if you drink a beer while you're at the Priory, then you get a special badge.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of little prizes, we've got Instagram of the week. Prizeless prize, Stephen. That was seamless. Seamless.
You said it again. If you hadn't said it, I'm sitting here thinking, that's seamless. Don't say it. And then you go and say it. Okay. Yes. And another, mate, I tell you what, Instagram is becoming an exciting place every week. The competition is really heating up over there. This prize is becoming one of the most sought-after prizes ever in the history of social media. So this week, there's got to be a couple of mentions this week before I go into what the winner is. So the first mention, and I think this is the first time I've mentioned this one, actually, Heisenberger 1 posted a lovely picture of Smog Rocket in a glass. Oh. Very simple picture of the can, the beer in a glass in a white room, and the darkness of the beer really shone through. So got to mention that one. Second mention
beer
this
of the
week.
Year, Smog Rocket.
Beer, yeah, you're all over that, aren't you? Yeah. It's already been nominated for our Porter's poll as well, which I might mention after the Instagram of the week as well. So second mention this week, breaking his run of being a winner for 2 weeks in a row. Fantastic film, AhhGee. Didn't quite do it this week, mate. I did enjoy your picture of ReAle, which you posted, again using the black and white filter with the colour label, and then you superimposed an Italian flag over it as well. You've really thought about this week. Wonder if it was a step too far in the craft wankery stakes, actually, but really enjoyed the picture. It was outdone by this week, and this was a picture that came up early on in the week, and it stuck with me all week long. And I was really torn between this and the Heisenberger picture, to the point where just before we recorded tonight, I said to my wife, I want you to look at these two pictures and tell me which one you think is the better. And she agreed with me and she chose this one. Our old friend at 1970s boy, Justin, you're this week's this prize winner for your picture of Thornbridge Zara. That looks like it's been taken on like a pebbly beach or something. The colours in it just work perfectly, mate. And I've been in love with this picture all week long. So congrats, Justin. You're this week's prize. Taking the title away from fantastic film for a week.
Very good.
I'm getting far too excited about this segment.
No, it's an exciting segment.
Yeah. So while we're on it, I'm just going to mention about we've been umming and ahhing as well about what we're going to do with these next couple of polls. Matt mentioned it last week. There was a bit of discussion about it when we recorded the AhhGee Beercast at the weekend. So the next poll is going to be a combined porters and stouts at 7.4% or less. So the next poll, porters and stouts, 7.4% or less. Get your nominations in now, and we'll be running that poll towards the end of October. The poll after that is going to be porters and stouts at 7.5% and above. So that's where we're getting into imperial porters and stout territory, barrel-aged imperial craft wankery. That one's going to be. So for now, 7.4% and less. Porters and stouts, nominate your favourites now.
Cool. And what's going on next week, mate?
Next week, mate, I am very, very excited about next week's show.
Because Rowan's on.
Yeah, because Rowan is joining us. Yes, Rowan Molyneux. At Rowan Molyneux on Twitter, www.rowanmolyneux.com. beer blogger from Manchester. Rowan is going to be coming on with us, and we're going to be getting very excited about the forthcoming Indie Man Beer Con, because she's going to be there as well. We're going to be looking forward to that. But the main event on next week's show, let's pause for a moment. We are going to be reviewing Thornbridge Halcyon.
Shock.
Not because I do not know what it tastes like and I do not love the beer, but because I feel as though it deserves the full Beer O'Clock Show treatment. And also because we've got a theme this season of asking the bloggers that are coming on to kind of choose the beer that they'd like to review, and Halcyon was in Rowan's shortlist of beers that she'd like to review, and it just so happened to be available at the right time.
And when I got my bottle, Steve sent me a text, and this is like a month or so ago, he sent me a text saying, "Put Halcyon in the fridge so the hops stay nice and fresh for the show."
Yes, preserve those lovely hop oils. So it's because, I mean, this current batch, we are drinking a bottle from the most recent batch of Halcyon, which was released towards the end of August. So it's already 6 weeks old, but I'm still guaranteeing it'll taste banging.
We'll see.
And I'm going to be completely impartial, obviously, with my review, but it's going to be a banging beer that's going to taste of grapefruit and angels and unicorn tears.
Yeah, and we'll see about that as well. Right. The Beer O'Clock Show is proud to be supported by Ales by Mail, your premier destination for bottled real ales delivered direct to your door. Visit alesbymail.co.uk and use the code BOCS10 for a 10% discount across their entire range. Pick up the beers from our Season 5 beer list from there, except for the beers from Italy one, because you can get 15% discount off at their site. But yeah, you get 10% off all of the beers on Ales by Mail by using our discount code, so get to it. The website is beeroclockshow.co.uk, Twitter is @beeroclockshow, Instagram is @beeroclockshow, Steve is on Untapped @beeroclockshow Steve, and I am there @Roku, and on Twitter @RokuBeer. Right, Steve, we've got RG versus the Beer O'Clock Show at the end, after the tinkly music. But otherwise, that's it, mate.
Yes. That is it. Highlight of my week.
And mine. Right.
Mine.
Until next week.
Look forward to Halcyon next week
Yeah.
with Rowan.
I'm looking forward to talking to Rowan more than I'm drinking Halcyon, I have to say.
How dare you? How very dare you? Stop being polite to her. And it's all about Halcyon. That's what it's all about. I'm not even going to talk next week. I'm just going to be sat here going, oh. Literally, as soon as the music's finished, you're going to hear, and I'm going to be on it. There's going to be nothing else. Yeah.
Do you have any news? Nope. Anything to talk about? Nope. Halcyon.
Halcyon. It's all Halcyon.
Hashtag
Halcyon.
all the Halcyon.
All
Right.
the Halcyon. Next week's show, all the Halcyon.
Jolly good. Until then, cheers, mate.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another AhhGee versus. This week, it's Team AhhGee versus Team Beer O'Clock from the Beer O'Clock Show. But who's going to win this week's AhhGee versus? Let's find out.
Yeah. So this brings me on to, I'm going to do an AhhGee versus.
Oh, good gracious me.
So this is a quiz. This is Beer O'Clock versus the AhhGee Podcast.
Team
so
AhhGee on
we
the...
have in the black corner, we've got Mr. Michael Bell of the Internet.
Ding.
Ding. And in the black 0.5 corner, we've got Grax Bishop of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Kudos for that, considering you didn't like it and you've just necked it. Well done on that.
And a point to Team AhhGee. 1-0. Fantastic. If you're going to give away points, you're going to lose. That's how this works.
Actually started.
Yeah, we have. That's how this works.
Point.
And then we have. I'll tell you. We're gonna have James on. We're gonna have 3-on-2.
Whoa.
They need all the help they can get.
Yeah, so we've got representing the Brewdog chain, Mr. James, the General.
Yeah.
Can't we get another member of staff though? Because they've been 2 on 2 and 2.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
And it's
Triple threat match.
Ugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Can we
And
put it in a
then,
cage?
and then representing the Beer O'Clock Show, Stephen Mark. Are you prepared?
I get. Yeah.
I get yeah.
I
Perfect.
get. Well,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess so.
I'm not
Normal
quite
behaviour.
sure what's going
Yeah,
on.
not,
normal
not,
behaviour.
not sure what's going to happen.
So this is
next,
RG
It starts on
versus
Gangster.
RG versus yeah. RG versus it is a quiz format. There will be points available for answers. That's how quizzes work. We've got 2 on 3.
We genuinely
I
haven't,
am-
genuinely haven't seen the questions.
I am the you haven't because I read them all myself.
You did?
And there was another point to that I was going to make. Oh, the winner! There's a prize.
There is.
Well, technically,
You mean there's something physical this time, and not just a no prize?
there is a There is a non-no prize, and it is a
It's not the love of our Lord.
no, not this time. Not Michael Flatley this time. It's going to be a Brewdog T-shirt, I believe.
It's a Brewdog
wow.
T-shirt that I was sent that's too small for me. So
Steve's handoffs. Congratulations.
giving it up as a prize.
Here's some crap that I don't want.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay, great. So we will need from Team RG. I'll need a buzzer for you. So what do you want your joined buzzer to be?
Ding.
Ding.
Has to be.
And for beer o'clock, is it going to be beer?
Beer.
Oh, wank. Did we have wank?
Beer wank.
Wank.
Did we have? We had wank there. I think we had a wank.
I think we'll go for beer.
So
I
we're
think
gonna
we're
going
going
for beer.
Yeah, I think
I was
So,
kind of hoping for a beer
If you
wank.
want to answer, we need a clear beer
So
that
is it-
rhymes, and
is
if
it-
we want to answer from Team RG, it's a ding.
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 Okay. Are we happy with that? We ready?
Yes.
Do we
Yes.
understand?
Okay. Question 1. What makes a good beer go bad?
Ding.
Ben Elton. In the pub.
That's a negative. Handing it over.
Many things. Sunlight.
1 point.
Wait, you being serious now?
What?
It's fine, Grax.
if they're all beer related, we've nailed this. I think.
Oh, fuck.
Grax, it's fine. We on the show every week. We can just leave and do it, and we're going to win anyway.
Oh, that's
we
true.
can just say we're going to win.
Question 2. Egyptian pyramid workers were paid with what?
Ding.
Beer.
Ding.
We had a ding first.
Coffee.
Oh, we've got a horn.
Oh, and player 3.
Sorry, Grax.
Coffee.
That's a negative. I'm handing it over.
Beer.
That's a negative. No, it's actually nothing because pyramid schemes are bad. Stay away. Question
As was that
3.
joke.
Did you fuck on my bonfire? That's right. Never fuck on bonfires.
That's a life lesson for you.
Yeah.
You only learned the hard way.
Uh,
Careful,
You're going to do it
kids.
once,
November.
aren't you?
November's coming up. Be careful.
Remember.
guys, stay away from this bonfire.
Remember. Don't put your cock in a bonfire.
It's a good one.
Question 3.
Thanks. Question 3. Mary Beard is a professor at Cambridge, but who did she recently befriend?
Mary Beard.
Dumbledore.
No no beer.
It wasn't a real answer.
It doesn't matter.
Mary Beard.
Mary Beard.
Jason Stubble.
No ding.
What-
Ding.
No points.
Oh.
Ding.
A late ding.
Stephen Fry.
No, it's not.
Because
Stephen
he's been
Fry.
getting
Ding.
around.
Professor Hawkins. He's at
Not
Cambridge a lot.
Hawkins. No, handing over to beer o'clock now.
Beer.
Exclusively.
Dumbledore.
Dumbledore. No. Any other advances on Dumbledore? Stephen Fry or Professor Hawkins?
Ding. Cambridge. So Adele.
Adele. No.
No.
It was a troll from Twitter.
Oh.
There you go.
Oh, wait, I've heard of that.
Yeah, but you didn't.
You didn't hear it at the right time.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't
thought
hear.
we were
I
We
only
had
heard
a point now, Grax, thanks to you.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm getting angry.
No
Things
point.
Mike's angry about. Grax getting answers wrong.
I'm sorry.
No points. So at this stage, after 3 questions, and we will definitely get to the end eventually, it's Beer O'Clock 2, Team RG 1.
It's fine. We're going to win anyway.
Question 4. Lipstick and greasy fingers can stop a good what forming?
Ding.
Bell.
I was going to say something about prostitute.
Prostitute, negative.
grease
Beer
and-
O'Clock.
grease and lipstick.
Wank.
Beer wank. We've got lipstick and greasy fingers can stop a good wank forming. It's good, but it's not right.
I think it's along those lines. It's good head, surely.
Points. Good job. No,
We haven't done a good head joke for ages. It's been.
That is a fact. 5.
We're 3-0 down, mate. Come on, let's pick up a
3-1.
Fine.
Question 5. Freezing your beer will make it what?
Ding.
ding.
Grax.
Into a popsicle.
Yeah.
Close. Expand on that.
You could stick it on a stick and pull
Beer
it out.
lolly.
No, I
Beer-
don't need to know what a popsicle is.
Beer
Yeah.
lolly.
what?
I'm going to give you half a point. The answer is solid and likely to stick to your hands. So, guys, rubber up. I'm going to give you 0.5.
The beginnings feel all these questions are just based on
Trying to get a
options
terrible pun
and
out.
need to throw in terrible jokes.
Yeah.
That's how this works.
Yeah, that's how it works. I'm sorry.
6.
We didn't warn you. But
Mine were, yeah.
Yours weren't presented. That's
weren't,
what they
no.
weren't. So you're.
I like yours one, though, because you always have a riddle as well. Is there a riddle later?
I don't think there is.
We'll make one up.
I can only do my Bin Laden one.
Question X.
Question 6. Often confused with beer, Danny Bear was born. But how tall is Danny Bear's pet emu? How tall is her pet
Ding.
emu? Oh, we've got from our Team AhhGee.
No evidence she has one.
No, there is. She's got a pet emu. It's widely known that Danny Bear has a pet emu.
6'3".
Which Danny Bear?
The one that Ryan Giggs.
There might be a few, though.
No,
There might be a few.
it's not
Shut
Danny.
up, Bell. I'm trying
Grax,
to
take
answer.
the answer.
6.3 inch.
6.3 inches.
Feet.
Moving to beer o'clock.
Feet.
Sorry, 6.3 inches
Oh,
is your first
fuck
answer.
you.
2 foot, 2 foot 4.
No, I've had 6.3 inches.
Beer.
Beer.
6'3".
Yes, 6'3" is correct.
Oh, you!
Sorry, 6.3 inches. What a bad answer. 7.
We've lost this, mate. Already.
How do you
Just
spell
mathematically, we've
beer
lost it.
in Albanian? Like a proper pub quiz question, that one.
I don't know.
Come on, have a go. How do you spell beer in Albanian?
Ding.
Grax domain.
ARABQZ.
No,
Squiggly line.
that's racist.
Yes,
Next.
it is.
Can we hand it over? James, you got any idea?
TRUF.
Truff. 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 Grax, can you announce that beer
Ding.
for us?
Truff!
No, it wasn't. No,
Ding.
actually. Oh, we got Bell.
THIS.
T- This, this A.
This, I got is wrong. Yeah.
Th-
ISA.
You're Albanian, it's okay.
TERRIBLEQUESTION. This is a terrible question.
Yeah, no points. 8. Often
What was
famed.
the answer?
Oh, it was BIRRE. Beer.
Oh.
Albanian facts.
Okay.
But the most important thing is we're learning and laughing.
Mostly.
I'm
Mainly
not laughing.
Mainly learning. Okay, question 8. Often famed for drinking beer, how do elephants smell?
Beer. Terrible.
Correct!
This beer is getting to me.
I have said all my
Grax,
jokes
Grax.
were shit.
Yeah, well, you've
Grax,
taken it down to the playground,
just
and
like-
I'm all over that.
It's like when you're playing pool, it's an 8 ball. We're going to have to drop trowel. We've not got one question right yet.
How do you
so
play snooker?
At this point,
If you
we're
don't pot one,
Oh.
you've got to drop trowel.
we're not dropping
Oh.
trowel. Okay, please, no trowel drop.
They're 8 balling us. It's terrible.
Okay, so question 9. At this point, there are 12 questions, but question 9, the score is Beer O'Clock Show featuring James and Brewdog. 5, RG 1.5. You
It's
guys
fine,
are letting the
because
team down.
So does that make it mathematically impossible for them to
Oh,
win?
no, no.
There's no such thing as mathematical impossibilities.
No, because the last question's worth 1,000,000,000 billion points.
Always,
right.
always. Okay, at this is question number 9. Okay, what is the first prize at this year's wife carrying championships?
I know this is a thing. I've seen it and thought it was very funny.
Yeah. A wheelbarrow.
That's unfortunately a negative. It's not a wheelbarrow.
Ding.
Ding for
A new
RG.
lighter wife?
That's a correct answer. It's a new wife.
Well, that's 100 points, so we're going to win.
Sadly, that's 1 point. Good. Well done. You've read the news. 10. At spas in Europe, you can literally bathe in what? Oh, my God. Oh, right. Okay, that makes no sense to me.
There you
whatsoever.
go. Okay.
Okay, in spas in Europe, you can literally bathe in what as a mental therapeutic treatment?
Ding.
Michael Bell,
Spas as in fancy places or the supermarket?
I just want to answer that question, mate.
Fish.
You basically ruined the gag, but carry on. Fine. 11. Right,
It's
okay.
fine. Power
Go
of
on,
editing.
get the pun out. Go on.
I don't care.
Do
So,
it.
Don't be
Do it.
moody.
Oh, now you're going to go in a mud and the rest of the day. I don't want to get that joke in.
don't care. 11. So this is 10 now. 10. What is the tree's favourite drink?
Ding. Sap.
No, but that's a good
That should have
title
been the
for a
answer.
new beer. Sap Dog. Grax?
What? Sap doc.
Sap tree.
Sap Dog.
Sap doc.
See, sounds great. Nope, handing it over to Beer O'Clock. What is the tree's favourite drink?
I'm trying to think of a pun for it. but-
Ding.
No, I've handed it over.
Water.
Water.
No, that's a shitty answer. We can't have that. I'm going to hand it back.
I was going to say water. Yeah.
Water. So
Yeah.
double negative. No, it's a root beer. Sorry, guys.
Oh.
So how comes it was a shitty answer when I said it, but it was just terrible?
That was
when he
double
said
shitty answer.
double
Oh, it's
shitty.
double-
Yeah.
double
it,
shit.
Yeah.
yeah, cancels out the shitty answer.
it? Okay.
I hate the RG versus.
Okay,
Yeah, I can't
this
stand
is question. This is question 11, the
Okay.
final question,
Of
and this
course.
is worth 5 points.
Thank you.
Well, we're still lost, haven't we?
No, this is
Statistically.
worth 5 points. This is news from the States. Craft beer is now what?
Ding.
Bell?
Available.
Nope. I mean, technically.
Technically correct. I'm claiming that as a point. That's 5 points. 5 points. No, it is available.
We win.
It's a factual statement.
Not in the context of this question.
Doesn't matter. It's a factual statement. I win. 5 points to us. Thank you, Grax. Well done, us. Go
Yeah.
team.
I'm going to hand it over to Beer O'Clock.
Fashionable.
Oh, it does end in able. But it's not
Available.
Ding,
I've already
ding,
said.
Ding, 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 ding. Drinkable.
No.
Oh, fuck.
Come on, guys.
Obtainable.
Sorry?
Obtainable.
That's pretty much the same as available.
Accessible?
isn't it? Accessible is similar.
It's the same thing.
No. Come on, guys. You can work on this
ding.
together.
Wearable.
Incredible.
Incredible. Wearable. Like an Apple Watch.
That's
no,
right.
it's not.
Durable.
Durable. almost.
Wankable.
Incredible.
We've got
Incredible.
It's
Incredible.
not incredible. It's not wankable. Come on, guys. It's not.
Quaffable.
It could be. It's not in a traditional
Drinkable.
beer format. It's not in a beer format. Eatable's quite close.
Edible.
That's the same.
Mailable.
I'm trying different words
Available
here.
isn't a word, is it? I don't know. I don't know.
If
What's
something that you can mail.
Mailable. Good. It's got a sex. No, come on, guys.
This isn't charades.
Saleable.
Incredible.
Readable.
Incredible. 5 points.
Fuck.
No. We got available, and that's factually correct. So we get 5 points. We get.
At the end of
We,
this,
we planned it ourselves.
this is
Yeah.
why we dropped it from the podcast. At the end of this week's RG Beercast, RG versus the final score is Beer O'Clock Show 10, RG 2.5. We have a winner. It's Beer O'Clock
yeah.
Show.
Yeah, we let them win. 'cause
Yeah,
they're
we let
guests.
them the first time.
Yes,
Yeah,
But
yes.
remember,
We're
guys,
We're being nice hosts.
we're all winners in the end. Yeah.
We are.
We're all
It's all
winners.
about the
Except for
taking
those
part.
guys. Those guys
yeah,
aren't
we
winners.
lost quite badly.
Yeah, it was
And you ruined
embarrassing,
my
really.
joke about spars.
Oh, what was it? What was it then? Go on. Get out now.
Ah!
You're giving me in a bloody mud all day now, aren't you?
Yep. Sorry, mate. No, it's good.
Well, we need to drink away our misery.
You can listen to future RG Verses and other comedy things on the RG Podcast from RG Productions. You can go to the website rgproductions.com, AhhGee. You could also find us on Twitter, which is at RGProd, AhhGeeProd. You can find us on Twitter, facebook.com/RGProd. You can find us on YouTube, youtube.com/RG Productions. And you could subscribe to our podcast via iTunes and Stitcher and SoundCloud.